Kieran Donoghue. Irish stocks are on a roll this year. The MSCI index is up over 15% year to date. What's driving it?
Good morning, Greg. Great to be here. I think what's really driving this is renewed confidence in Ireland, in our recovery story, in the fact that we had the highest growth rate on a GDP basis in the EU last year. I think investors are looking at Ireland now and they see that success story and they want to be part of it.
Well, Ireland actually went through austerity, but they came through, as you mentioned, with flying colors, 4.8% GDP in 2014. So what did Ireland do that Greece isn't doing or didn't do?
Firstly, we recognized that we had a problem. Secondly, we engaged in constructive dialogue with our creditors. We came up with a plan. We agreed that with the I.M.F, with the E.C.B, etc., and we executed that. We targeted our deficit. We needed to get it down from 10% to 3% of GDP. We're on track to do that. We engaged in a fiscal consolidation exercise. We cut back on public expenditure, and we came up with a plan to tackle the fundamental reduction in competitiveness which had impacted the economy over the previous 10 years. And we've executed really well against that plan.
Can you talk about the Irish financial sector? Where are the banks right now?
The banks right now are in a good place. One of the key pillars of our strategy to recover from the crisis was to restructure and recapitalize our domestic banking sector. We've done that successfully. A number of investors have invested in the domestic banks. Separate from the domestic banks, the international financial services sector in Ireland, which I represent, has gone from strength to strength. All of the key players on the street, BNY Mellon, JP Morgan, etc., have very successful operations in Ireland, and that segment of the financial services industry continues to grow.
And I'm hearing that China is getting more interested in the Irish financial sector. Can you tell me what China's doing?
Yeah, China's financial services sector is at an early stage in its internationalization, much earlier than the US financial services industry. It's looking at Europe as an area of opportunity, and within Europe it has selected Ireland in particular as the place where it wants to establish its aircraft leasing and financing business. So I.C.B, China Development Bank, and several others have established major leasing operations in Ireland.
Can you talk about what would happen if the UK were to leave the EU, how this would affect Ireland and I guess in turn the US as well?
Firstly, Ireland's position on this is really clear. The UK is our nearest neighbour. It's a major trading partner. We do not want the UK to leave the EU. We think it would be bad for Ireland and bad for the EU. Right now, we don't believe that the UK will leave the EU. Now that Prime Minister Cameron has set a date for a referendum and a debate around leaving is very public. All of the initial survey data is showing that the UK are in favour of remaining within the EU. If they were to leave, it would create some significant challenges for Ireland. We share a land border with the UK. As I said, it's a major trading partner. From a financial services perspective, I think financial services groups that are in London and in the UK are there because they want to access the European market from the UK. So if the UK was to leave, there would be a question mark over market access to the EU. And that's a key challenge for those groups.
All right, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching The Street.